All right, Shalom, Mikey. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rakah Kodash. I'd like to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. I'd like to say Shalom to the elect that teaches the word in all true faith and sincerity. And today, I just want to get into a lesson about pretty much we at the end of so-called white man's reign of terror. And even he knows and acknowledges it. And the reason why we know these things is because what's taking place upon the planet Earth. The Lord gave us, certain signs to look for to diagnose the times that we're in. And what we're seeing is the end of a rulership, the end of an empire, which is the so-called white man, rulership. So matter of fact, let's start out with this in the book of 1 John 2. Because we seeing that so-called white man is fading away. America don't have as luster as it once had. Everything got to be always revised. You got to remake this, or you're coming out with a part 12 of a movie, and that's just scratching the surface, man. These other nations don't respect, America, or really the so-called white man as a whole. You got riots and protests happening throughout the earth, and other things that contributes to a downfall of a power, and that's what we're seeing, man. We actually witnessing the destructuring before the ultimate destruction of this devil. So this is 1 John 2, verse 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. See? And that's talking about this world, this current age that we're in. It's not talking about the planet Earth, it's talking about this age. It said in the things that are in the world. From your family, to your car, your job, even your life. You ain't supposed to love. You tell you they love not their lives unto death, because that's what's ultimately going to be that the fork in the road. As you dealing with the MOTB, that thing, for you to continue and live and abide in this society, you're gonna have to take that thing. So all the way down in your life, you don't supposed to love that as well, man. Oh, that's why the Lord said, keep them in the world, but keep them from the evil. We gotta be here, of course. We gotta work and pay bills and taxes and all this. But when that time comes to cut this place off, you gotta do it, man. But it said, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. See, and that means you really don't know what it's truth about. You really don't have the truth. You really don't get it. For these American Israelites, they'll teach you just how to be a good Israelite in America. They don't push, and the next chapter after America. They don't push that this place is ultimately going to be overthrown, and there's a world to come. A lot of J's that just want to throw the fringes, learn a couple precepts, and that's it. They still here in the mind, and ultimately they still want to be here physically. So you love the world, the love of the Father of this truth is not in them. This is for all that is in the world. The lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. Yeah, that's what this place consists of, carnality, really. That's what the serpent presented unto Eve. That's why she was captured by it. It was pleasing to the eyes. What this man presents, his philosophies, ideologies, so-called goodies of this place. Everything with this man, everything how he built this society and this system this is not of Yahweh Shema Shai. It says, and the world passeth away. See, this age, this is passing away, man. Like I said, they got to make another Toy Story. Why? Because they don't got no more ideas. You know, and then, like I said, that's just scratching the surface. That's light, man. But you just see the strength of this man is. Oh, matter of fact, let's get something real quick. This is because as time goes on, he's actually growing weaker. You know, like somebody in that upper age. You know, they become weaker. You know, they don't have that strength as they once had, and ultimately, it's signs of them. They'll show you signs of them about to kick the bucket. Either whether they coughing up blood or they bedridden, they can't feed themselves. Or we seeing that spiritually, dealing with America and the so-called white man as a whole, man. No matter how much he presents himself as having power, ultimately he's withering away, man. This is Isaiah 24, verse 4. The earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languisheth and fadeth away. See, the heart of people of the earth do languish. Now you go into the word languish. One of those words is to grow feeble. They grow feeble, which means they are past their prime now, man. And they're becoming weaker and weaker each day. Like I said, it's how this devil set up. He can present himself as still having power, to a certain extent, but really, this man is growing feeble. Or another word is droop. So that's this man. That's why I said the haughty people of the earth. That's talking about the Edomites, because one of the words that's associated with this devil is pride. So that's who is the scripture talking about, the so-called white man in this age where he's drooping, he's growing feeble, he's fading away. So let's go back first John 2. It's like you. 1 John chapter 2, verse 17. It reads, "And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof." See? That's just like throwing a vivid example. Throwing a pencil in the hallway. If you catch my drift, that's what's taking place right now. The lust is gone. The thrill is gone. That box ain't what it used to be. And we seeing it on all levels with the so-called white man and his rulership as a whole. It's to the point he know he's falling. Oh, you read that in the book of Revelation 12:12. It said he know that he had but a short time. This nigga know he about to kick the bucket. But this is what we're witnessing throughout the planet Earth. This man, his influence is fading away. They already saying that, which we already know who's up next. Israel, but they already saying China. This is the China century to rule. No, man. But it's to the point. Just going back to the point is that they're acknowledging the so-called white man is falling off. Even he knows that himself. So how much more when reality hit for these Americans, man? Let's get this in the book of Isaiah, the 14th chapter. Isaiah chapter 14. Verse 4. That thou should take up this proverb against the king of Babylon. And really going towards these elites. That's who this message is really for. Because they know what's going on. They already wearied in their counsels concerning what's taking place throughout the planet Earth. Joe Sixpack ain't gonna know it till it's too late, man. When that power go out or when the money crash. These elites are already suffering, mentally from these things. From this message. It says, "And say, how have the oppressors ceased? The golden city ceased." And that's what we're witnessing, man. I said, this man was presented as an unmovable object. He was able to pretty much take over whole continents and resources, but now he's ceasing. Oh, that's why I said, when thou shalt cease to spoil, then thou shalt be spoiled. When thou cease to do treachery, then we seeing that process. This man's slowing down. He think he about to fulfill his new world order, but ultimately, all this is really an act of desperation, man. All this is really an act of desperation. What this man is doing. That's why he's hollering and screaming through his laws and legislations, man. You know, the Lord is giving this man a grievous death, and ultimately the icing on the cake is it's gonna be those missiles, man. You know, but it says, it reads, "The Lord have broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers." See the power, man. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger, is persecuted and none hindereth. And that's what's about to take place to the so-called white man. He about to get his ass handed to him, and everybody gonna sit back and watch. Ain't nobody gonna step in on his behalf, man. You know, it says the whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing, and we've seen the beginning stages of that. Now that's why we're in very monumental times. The end of the so-called white man, death himself, man. So that singing happening now, but ultimately it's gonna play out its perfection when this man is overthrown violently. You know, they say we're gonna sing the song of Moses when it take place, when this man witnessed the destruction. You know, it says, but the singing starts now by way of us teaching and pushing forth this message. But it's gonna grow in its perfection. You know, it says, yeah, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, the people, saying, since thou art laid down, no feller is come up against us. See, was that what that man do? He's a fella, a chopper of trees. He cut down trees, a cutter. That's why you got Moabites wearing three-piece suits instead of their traditional garbs. You got Ishmaelite women wearing leggings instead of being covered. This man have chopped down the trees, man. Broken the people down, man. But now since this nigga is out the way, you can breathe now. That's actually gonna be a literal saying in the kingdom, a breath of fresh air. you know? It says, hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. See, so pretty much meaning what? The spot at the bottom has been opened. That spot has been vacated. Was we had that spot. Was now the Lord is about to do that role reversal. As we was on the bottom and this man's on the top, the Lord's about to flip that around. He's gonna be on the bottom and we're gonna be on the top, man. But it's to meet thee at that coming. So he got reserved seats being abased. What it says, what our Lord Yahweh said, the poor will always be among you. So there's a lot for the poor, but it always changes who inhabits it. Which we the ones that inhabit it now, the poor. But it's gonna get to the point, the so-called white man is gonna move in. That's gonna be his port. That's gonna be his lot to be at the bottom. It said, it stirred up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It raised up their thrones at all. It said, it have raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. It says, and they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? And see, that's to my these different nations, man. That's why they got the courage now to come against this man. They parade their weaponry around. These different missiles. They have parades with their missiles, man. And it ain't like they just got them. They got them for America, man. But as you can see, the nations are acknowledging the so-called white man is falling off. He's fading away. He don't have that strength as he once had. It says, thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vows. The worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. So that's what we're saying. The decaying that's a process, the withering of the so-called white man. And when it said the worms cover you, That means you've been dead for a minute, man. You know, when the word first came, you know, back then it was already that was it. You know, when he Albert Bivens came into the scene, you know, when his ministry was being pushed out in his lifetime, that was the end of this man and his reign of terror, man. It was only a matter of time before he ultimately get overthrown. But the point is, said the worms cover thee. That lets you know you finished, man, and you being consumed. You know, you ever seen anything covered with worms? Is down there a skeleton. You know, but that's what we seeing. The so-called white man is finished, man. At the end of the day, America is through. You know, there's nothing here left but death. And like I said, even this devil himself knows that he's out the door, man. That's why he's doing everything in his power to prevent that. So matter of fact, let's get this out end off of this. Wisdom Solomon 2, I started top for the ungodly said, reasoning with themselves, but not aright. And this is concerning the elites of Edom and their secret councils. And when you read this chapter, it's pretty much a sum. It's summed up what they really talk about, man. You know, they might tell you they was talking about climate change and this stupid shit or that stupid shit, but Wisdom Solomon 2 lets you know what these devils talk about, man, in these councils. So it says, our life is short and tedious. See? And in the death of no man, it's like in the death of a man, there is no remedy. Neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave. So they said that life is short and tedious. That's not talking about them just living actual life. You know, they lived for 10 years and they died. No, that's talking about their rulership. It tells they were going to rule for a little season, man. You know, and it said after the death of man, there is no remedy, because guess what? Once this man fall out of power, after those 1,000 years, the other nations is going to go back to their land. You know, they're going to be able to go back to their land, but the so-called white man is not going to have any remedy. He's not going to have anything left. Matter of fact, let's get some real quick. Let's go back to Isaiah 14. Because it tells you the so-called white man is going to be as a bloody garment. You know, that's going to be cast into the fire. I believe that's how it goes. Let's see. Bear with me. Let me jump up. It might be up on it. Okay, yeah, this is it. This is the book of Isaiah 14, verse 18. It reads, all the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, everyone in his own house. So they're concerned that all the other nations going back to their lands, you know, after that 1,000-year period. It says, but thou, to my Esau, art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch. And as the raiment of those that are slain, thrust through with the sword, that go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden underfoot. See, thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land and slain thy people. The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned. See, so that lets you know, once they go back to their land, these other nations, that's gonna be them, you know, bouncing back, so to speak. You know, they'll have resources, even though they're gonna pay tribute to us, but they'll be all right, man. But the so-called white man, that's why I said, but thou art cast out, as you know, so there's not gonna be no remedy when it comes down to the so-called white man, him bouncing back, or him going back to Mount Seir. No, man, it's not gonna take place. Ultimately, he's gonna be Obadiah, the 18th verse. But this is what this council is concerning, man. Him, if he can't accomplish this is what's gonna happen. That's why this nigga always meeting. This is why this nigga always writing laws and legislations. He's using his military, you know, because he understand if he don't get this thing off the ground, this is what's coming, which is already set in stone. This is what's coming. You know, so it says it's like in Wisdom of Solomon, the second chapter. I start at verse 1 again. For the ungodly say, reasoning with the says, but not aright. Our life is short and tedious, and in the death of a man there is no remedy. Neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave. So yeah, it's not which Esau the only one that actually came back into power. There was not whoever heard such a thing throughout history. It ain't like the Medes came back into power. That was a vast empire. That Medo-Persian Empire, that was a vast empire. You know, once they fell, that was it. Only thing you can do now is just read about it what happened. You know, but they don't got the influence as they once did. You know, these former nations. But the only one that actually came back into power was the so-called white man, but not this time. You know, it says, let me jump down. Let's get to the point. Verse 5. It says, for our time is a very shadow that passeth away. See, this man is on the clock. And as it gets down to zero, that's it. This man is looking over his shoulder. It says, and after our end, there is no returning, for it is fast sealed, so that no man cometh again. See? And that's what we seeing, you know, the end of this man. And as we get closer and closer to that perfect day, we seeing that he's out of here, man. He's out of here, man. You know? So we're in a very monumental time. You know, it's dangerous, it's scary, you know, but this is beautiful. It's time to rejoice because ultimately, this is it. This is what we've been waiting on. You know, it was going to happen. The kingdom of heaven is going to be established through the downfall of the so-called white man, the Edomites. You know, and we seeing it now. The kingdom of heaven is now going to be restored unto Israel. You know, so I hope that we're edifying. I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect that sees your word in all true faith and sincerity. DTA, abide the ball.